Title: My Mom's Secret came out 40 years later. You know what? I've never really done this before, sharing stuff like this, but sometimes you just have to get things off your chest before they eat you alive from the inside. So here goes. Last Christmas, we had one of those big, cozy family gatherings at my sister's place. Kelly, my sister, always been the one to go a little extra with the decorations, the food, the whole deal. She loves Christmas like a kid loves snow days. It was nice, everyone laughing, drinking, swapping gifts under the tree. My aunt had flown in from Vermont, and like every year, she came with these weird, quirky presents she thinks are the greatest thing ever. That year, she got Kelly an Ancestry DNA kit. You know, the one spit in a tube, ship it off, and in a few weeks some corporation tells you where your bloodline supposedly comes from. Kelly was thrilled. One of her friends had done it a while back and turned out to be 6% African, which for a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl raised in the whitest suburb imaginable was apparently the highlight of her yay, so Kelly was itching to see what kind of surprises her blood held. I smiled, told her it was cool, but honestly I've never been into that stuff. Feels weird sending your DNA off to some lab so a bunch of strangers can stick it in a database somewhere. Who knows what the hell they do with it. Anyway, I got a watch that year, nice one too, though I was secretly hoping for a different brand, but you know what? I appreciated it, it's the thought, right? Later that night, Kelly comes over, waving that kit around saying it came with a couple extra tests, and she wanted me and our younger brother Josh to try it out too. Josh, ever the curious one, jumped at the chance. Male. I hesitated, told them both it wasn't my thing. I mean, what's it gonna tell me? I already know my story, Irish roots on my dad's side, some English and German mixed in from my mom. No surprises. Besides handing over your genetic code to a company. Hard pass. So Christmas came and went, the new year rolled in, and life went back to the usual work-family grind. Then one afternoon, maybe a month later, my daughter, 14 years old, sharp as a tack, comes home with this big box in her backpack. Turns out one of her friends had gotten her a 23andMe kit for her birthday, and all the kids at school were doing it. I laughed it off at first. Kids and their trends. Harmless, right? She was so excited though, and against my better judgment, I helped her set it up. A few weeks later, the results came in. She's sitting at the kitchen table, reading it off, all eager. And then she pauses. Dad, it says I'm not Irish. I chuckled, told her these things were garbage, just a fun gimmick. They throw in random percentages to make people feel special. But she kept going, showing me the other details like the health markers, distant relatives, historical stuff. And I gotta admit, it was kinda cool. So she challenges me, if you think it's so fake, why don't you do it too? Now I don't know why, but something in that moment made me say screw it. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe I just wanted to prove her wrong. I did the test. When the results came, I expected to see exactly what I'd always believed. Irish, maybe a little English, but no, the biggest chunk of my ancestry. South American, nearly half, not a drop of Irish in sight. I stared at that screen, my stomach doing flips. I double-checked, triple-checked, there had to be a mistake, but it matched my daughter's results too. Same exact breakdown. And that's when my brain started doing the math. I knew my dad's side of the family, my grandma, God rest her soul, made sure we knew every last maiden name and where they came from. They were Irish immigrants, settled in Boston before heading down to New Jersey, no question there. So if my daughter didn't have Irish from me, and I didn't have it from my mom's side, then it had to be Dad. Only it wasn't, there was no way, which meant one thing. I remember sitting there in my kitchen, staring out the window, feeling like my world tilted just a little. I never exactly looked like my dad. People said we had the same skin tone, but the eyes, the nose, even the build, never really a perfect match. But you chalk those things up to genetics being funny sometimes. It never crossed my mind that she could have, that she would have cheated. I didn't know how to tell my daughter. I sat her down, explained as gently as I could that these tests were real, and sometimes they reveal things you don't expect. I told her that family isn't always about blood, it's about who raises you, loves you, is there when you need them. She understood in that half-kid, half-grown-up way teenagers do. I knew someday, when she was older, she'd understand the full weight of it. For weeks I kept it to myself, avoided phone calls from Kelly and Josh, didn't call my parents. My wife, bless her, noticed something was off. I told her the whole thing one night after the kids were asleep. She just held my hand, didn't say much, gave me space. God, I needed that. Eventually, I couldn't sit on it any longer. I called Kelly and Josh, told them we needed to meet. We sat down at Kelly's kitchen table, the same table we'd opened those damn kits at months earlier, and I laid it out. Turns out Josh had his results back too, and get this, he was Dad's either. Different ancestry altogether. From a different part of Europe entirely. My mom did this twice. Kelly sat there, tears running down her face. She loved us, always did. We'd always been close, and now she was the odd one out. The only one truly from both our parents. She kept saying it didn't matter, that we were still her brothers, but you could see it breaking her heart. And poor Dad, clueless, living his best retired life with Mom. Traveling, gardening, bragging about his grandkids, he'd never suspect a thing. And the thought of telling him, God, it would crush him. Destroy everything he thought he knew about his life, his marriage, his family. We all agreed not to, for his sake. And maybe in some messed up way, for ours too. Mom never said a word. Maybe she knows. Maybe she suspects we know. But nothing's been spoken about it since. Some days I feel like we did the right thing. Other days I wonder what I'd want if the roles were reversed. If my wife did this to me. If my kids knew and kept it from me. That thought sits in my gut like a stone. But life moves on. Birthdays come, holidays happen, the family still gathers around that same kitchen table. But I never looked Mom in the eye, I just couldn't. Dad knows something's off, but I brush it off, saying I'm having some issues at work. I only hope I can keep this secret with me as long as I can. It always breaks my heart every time I see him. I wish I hadn't known about this. I wish I hadn't taken the test. I wish I could find the strength to keep going forward with this burden that I have to bear for decades to come.